Thank you for that warm welcome, everybody. And today we're going to invite you on a journey about the story of Fostering Hope to date, which now includes Hobart Baptist Church in our story. So as Matt said, Ellie and I have joined the family and we're working upstairs in the office space together. And we're super excited, along with Matt, to see what doors God's going to open for this partnership as we continue to do Monday to Friday together and see what happens. And we're a local mission organisation, and we really want to see how God wants us to work together to bless this community right here where we're placed, in North Hobart. Particularly for us to bless vulnerable members of our community, children and young people without the protection of caring adults in their lives, and without the knowledge of a Heavenly Father who loves them and has a purpose for them. So Fostering Hope's partnership with the Baptist churches actually began about 6 years ago. We were a little not-for-profit with just me, one staff member, and we were beginning to raise awareness amongst the Christian community about the needs of children and young people growing up in out-of-home care that is removed from their families of birth due to safety concerns and placed in fostering families like mine or kinship families. And Stephen Baxter heard about the work we were doing, and he approached us because years before that he was having a conversation with a local politician and Stephen said to him, if the church could do anything in Tasmania, what would it be? And this politician's answer was, find foster carers. So we were beginning this work and Stephen came to us because we were that answer to that question. So through Stephen we began a formal partnership with Hobart Baptist Churches and BapCare particularly as a community organisation working in this space. And Stephen was a great advocate and supporter of us, inviting us to be part of your Illuminous Festival, the Parliamentary Prayer Breakfast, and introducing us to other supporters. You may also know some of our staff and board members. Our very first staff member after me was Tracy Avery, who is a carer herself as well and goes to City Baptist Church in Launceston. And then Anthea Maynard, who passed to City Baptist, joined the team to run the mentoring program in northern Tasmania. And now Maddie Savoza, the senior pastor of Summerhill Baptist, is on our board. Then just a couple of months ago, as Matt said, Fostering Hope needed a home, and we began talking to different churches and community organisations. Matt, Heather and Connie began this conversation with us, and here we are. And we are so grateful. It's the first time for us that we've ever had an office, we've ever paid rent, and we're loving having an office space where we can make it our own, where we can invite others into it, and an opportunity now for us to grow as well. So you're going to hear from different members of the Fostering Hope team to hear our story. So first I'm going to introduce the chair of our board, John Morse, to share his story with Fostering Hope.
Thanks, Mary. Well, I'm very pleased to be back here again visiting and to just begin expanding the partnership that we have together. My role as a member of the board of Fostering Hope began when Mary was attending the church I was in then, and they said, we want someone to be on the board from the church. So I came and I began to learn. But now I am a strong supporter. I've learned a bit. I want to see that the board gives good governance. I want to see that it keeps its direction true to its purpose and its Christian roots. We need to find adequate finance for the work. There are now 6 members of staff and 2 to be interviewed in the coming weeks. Are part-time people, all of them, but all making very significant contribution. And I want to ensure, the board wants to ensure safety for the staff and for the carers they work with and for the mentors of those children in care that we have recruited and trained and put in place. Part of my role is to support Mary, and Mary won't tell you all about herself, but I'll tell you a little. She recruits carers, she's an advocate in churches, she advocates with government departments and with ministers about out-of-home care in this state. She writes applications for grants, all sorts of grants, in a marvellous way, and many of those are successful. And Mary has been one of a few people who've strongly supported having Foster Care Sunday growing across Australia. One Sunday in September each year for that. So lots of work that has occurred. And so my role on the board has seen the emergence also overseeing a quality mentoring program for mentors who would look after or spend time with children in care. And Ellie has led that up, and that's now in Hobart, Launceston, and along the northwest coast. There are little cards around today. You might like to use one. How? I want to ask you if you would pray for Fostering Hope. I'm looking for people who would give half an hour to an hour each week to pray particularly for the work of Fostering Hope. To pray to turn the tide, that we might find more carers who are needed to care for children for whom it isn't safe to be in their own home. They need to find a home. To pray for staff in their roles, to pray that the board will have wisdom, skills, and it'll grow and keep changing to meet the needs that emerge. Fostering Hope need people to pray for the work. So if you have that little card and you were to put your name and your email contact on it and write one word in the space below, prayer, and drop that in a box at the end of the day, we would keep in touch with you and keep you current with where the needs are for prayer. I'd invite you in partnership to become a live member of Fostering Hope family. And again, you can take that card, fill in your details and write one word, family, and we'll keep in touch and keep you informed about what's happening. As we grow and increase in what we're doing, we need to increase the number of people who are our supporters. We need people who wrap around people, and they might provide a meal or mow their lawns. We're looking for people who might be mentors. So we want to grow the family across the state. And we do have people on the mainland who are part of our family already. So again, one word on the card, family, and we'll join you in strongly with our Mentoring Health family. And the final thing you might do is to speak for Fostering Hope. Can you introduce us to others and help them to support our work? Speak up for us to others. Word of mouth is a very, very, very strong factor for growth. And if there's anything else you would like to know about Fostering Hope, Mary's here today, I'm here today, Ellie's here today, and Beck down from Launceston is sitting in the back down there today. Our work up in Launceston, she helps to drive that. So thank you, Mary.
Thanks, John. Thank you, John. And next, I'm going to invite some members of my family, my three older boys. So if Jericho, Kine and Spencer could come up. So I am a carer myself. I have 5 sons, two biological sons and 3 sons who entered my home through care. And it's because of my carer journey that Fostering Hope began. It was me realising this was living out my faith in every single way, putting the lonely in families, being a light for God in the community He's placed me, hopefully being a good neighbour, and the verse that Matt shared from Matthew about being salty and a light in my community. So I'm just going to ask them 3 questions about how the fostering journey has impacted them. Kaiden wants to start. So what do you wish people knew about fostering?
A lot of people probably don't know about fostering that we're still just brothers. It's not like they're coming into our home and they're suddenly, they're not our brothers. We're still family. Even not biologically, we're still brothers.
Yeah, well, I had a very similar thing to Kaiden. So, yeah, just that people, do think there's a disconnect between us, because they're not biologically our brothers, but, it feels weird when you think about it, but then once they're actually just in your home, we're just another family, and we're all just brothers. We fight, but in the end it often works out.
Anyone can do fostering. You don't have to be this amazing, incredible person to do it. Yeah, that's about it, really.
How has fostering shaped or changed your life, do you think?
Well, fostering's given me probably a greater, what's the word? Awareness or understanding of that something else could be going on in someone's life. So if you like see a kid in the park who's crying about the wrong ice cream flavour, it might not just be because they got the wrong ice cream flavour, it might be because something else is going on.
Yeah, I had a very similar thing to Colin again, but I think another thing for me would just be I've got great appreciation of other, like more than just like what I might have liked if it wasn't for Spencer or the younger two brothers. Like they've shown me things that I never would have even considered or thought of doing, especially one with Spencer's like Pokemon cards or that just random things that I never would have looked at if it wasn't for him. So I think it's given me greater appreciation and broader knowledge.
I got brothers out of it. So I was originally an only child, and then I came into the family, and then I've got 4 of them. So it's a big jump, but I'm very grateful for that. And I also found God. Like I wasn't in a Christian home, and yeah, that helped me.
And final one, what is the best or worst thing about being part of a fostering family?
I've got a best thing. Probably the best thing about being part of a fostering family means that I have 3 new brothers. So originally it was just me and Jericho, and now I've got 3 more brothers to play with and enjoy their company.
Yeah, my best thing would be the exact same as Kyden's again. But I'll add in a worst. It's just I've also wasted hundreds of dollars on Pokemon cards thanks to him. So
You're welcome, Jericho. Best thing for me is probably that I get to be the oldest brother. Even though I don't look it, I'm very short. But no, genuinely, I really enjoy being an older brother to Boomer and Roo mainly, not these guys. They don't treat me as the oldest. But the worst thing is probably that I'm actually the same age as Jericho. I'm just a couple months older, and it's a bit awkward when people ask, "Oh, so you're twins?" I'm like, "No, not really." And then I have to explain my entire life story. I mean, I don't, but that way they go away and leave me alone. So.
Thanks, boys. We've been, in talking about those questions and thinking about it with the boys, it was, for me as their mum, fascinating to hear how just normal, this is just their life, this is their normal. It's nothing amazing or special, it's just our family. And I think a lot of people think fostering, particularly if you've got your own biological children, could have a really negative impact on your kids. And yeah, you've got to go into it eyes wide open and prayerful and having the right support around you, which is what Fostering Hope is there for, us to support families. But it can also be an incredible opportunity for your kids. And obviously the kids that you're bringing into your home, it's life-changing. During one of the special things about Spencer's journey is he's got a mentor, a Christian mentor that he's had for about 7 years. And that mentor meets with him most weeks on a Friday. He picks him up from school, they go hang out, do something, and he brings Spence back. And for me, that extra support, knowing there's that person in Spencer's life outside what the boys didn't mention, the chaos of my home with 5 boys, there's someone there that's just there for him. But there's also someone that's there praying for him outside of just me and my immediate family. And so Ellie runs the mentoring program, and along with Anthea in Launceston and Natalia in the Northwest. So Ellie's going to share a bit about the mentoring.
All right. Rather than tell you about the mentoring program, how it works, I want to share 3 stories with you today. So the first is Anita. Anita has been meeting with her mentor Jenny for the past 2 years, since she was 11 years old. Each Wednesday, Jenny picks Anita up from school and they head to a local park. They cook pancakes on the barbecue, have a dance party. Sometimes they crochet or do craft. Often they drink tea and they chat. Sometimes it's a combination of all of these things. When Anita's foster family changed, that didn't impact her time with Jenny. We were able to talk with her new carers, and they agreed that the mentoring should continue. And it's been amazing to see this relationship blossom and see Anita grow in confidence. Mentoring provided Anita with stability and consistency at a time in her life when everything else changed. It also provided her new caring family an extra layer of support, knowing that she had Jenny to talk to. Next, I want you to meet Kyle. Kyle is a retired horticulturalist who loves reading and the outdoors. Kyle heard about Fostering Hope through a couple in his church who have a daughter who is a carer. When he heard about what kids in care go through, his heart was stirred and he wanted to know what he could do. He isn't in a position to foster due to his wife's health, but he does have time to spend a couple of hours with a young boy each fortnight. When he met Daniel, they clicked right away, and Daniel's curiosity about the world meant that he wanted to ask Kyle all sorts of questions. He had never been to church, but somehow has a desire to find out more about Jesus. Kyle is able to answer his questions honestly and share what he thinks about things. Kyle loves getting to explore the outdoors with Daniel. They enjoy going on bushwalks and exploring places like Fossil Cove in Blackman's Bay. Kyle is grateful for the chance to make a difference in Daniel's life and the life of his carer, who has expressed her thankfulness for the break that she gets and the comfort of knowing that Kyle is there for Daniel. Meet Heidi. Heidi's daughter has been meeting with her mentor for 2 years. We asked Heidi what the best thing about the mentoring program for her daughter in care is, and she said, knowing that she has someone to talk to if she wants. All the different activities that are directly considered with her in mind. Someone else that supports and encourages her. Someone else to love her unconditionally. For Heidi, having a mentor for her daughter means that she gets extra confidence and a layer of support that is especially for her. Every mentoring relationship looks different and is tailored to the mentor and mentee. So I want to leave you with 2 questions. Could you be a mentor? Is this something that you might be able to do to make a difference in the life of a child in care? Or do you know someone else who could?
Thanks, Ellie. So along with Ellie and Beck and Anthea, we also have Natalia and Alison who work with us in the Northwest. And we have a great board that John's mentioned, and we also have Mark, our treasurer, here with us today as well. And our board is a mixture of Christians of all different denominations all across the state. Oh, there's a photo of the staff team. My role, as John's mentioned, is to raise awareness about the needs of children growing up in out-of-home care, walk alongside people as they become carers, support carers pastorally, with fellowship, with practical support, referrals, training, work with Ellie on the mentoring program to find those right matches, that we have matches that are the child and the mentor just click and get along. I also spend time upskilling people in the community, working and volunteering with children and young people on the impacts of unsafe beginnings, and have developed a free online trauma awareness course. And the reason we do this is, I know from my experience, our kids can come with challenging behaviours, and that can mean they can be disengaged from activities because of their behaviours. But what I found is it only takes a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of understanding that, as my boy said, hey, maybe there's something else going on for that child, and then that can flip and we can make our churches, our kids' church programs, our after-school activities, Boys Brigade, Girls Brigade, safe places for all our kids. Because the biggest healing for our kids, along with a relationship with God, is to be accepted and have a community around them that gets them and cares for them. And another part of my role, as John said, is engaging with the out-of-home care sector, offering solutions, hope and encouragement, and being part of the solution. Ellie mentioned a story, and I'm going to forget the names because she changed the names. But an example of the Fostering Hope story is the little girl that she mentioned, who was in a placement with a Christian family, and I was walking alongside that family, supporting that family, offering extra training and resources, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, that placement broke down, and that does happen. So then I was there. As Ellie said, the mentoring continued for this little girl who already had a mentor, but then I could work with that family to find a new family, a new placement for that girl to go to, which we did. And then we could support both the family that the placement had broken down and the new family as they began their journey. And, as Ellie mentioned, the mentoring continued. So for that little girl, every Thursday after school, the same thing happened. And that was a huge support to both the previous family and the new family. And now, in that new placement, this new family had the capacity to open their home to her little brother. So now those siblings are together, and that little brother now has a mentor through us as well. So it kind of shows that support that we are able to provide. But the need is really, really huge. As John mentioned, we actually are at a national crisis of shortage of foster carers in Australia at the moment, and that's in Tasmania as well. And what this means is children, rather than being placed in a family, are being placed in residential care or group homes with rostered carers. And we know the research for decades shows that doesn't produce good outcomes for kids and can often make kids more vulnerable. So we need more fostering families in Tasmania, in Australia. As the verse that was read before I spoke, religion that is pure and undefiled before God, the Father, is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself from being unstained from the world. What does that mean? It means for each of us that we have a role to play. It can look completely different, but children without the protection of their parents in any community, whether that's here in Tasmania or overseas, are potentially the most vulnerable people in the community. And we're asked to draw near to the vulnerable, to love, to serve sacrificially, but we're not asked to stand at a safe distance away from that. Fostering Hope is part of CAFO, Christian Alliance for Orphans, it's kind of like our international peak body. And the president of this organisation put it this way: holiness is pure but with purpose. It is unpolluted so that it might be useful. Its heart is pure but its hands are dirty, holy and helpful. And holiness is a cyclical process. Through discipleship we are rooted in the foundation of the pure truth. From there, discipleship gives way to mission as we get involved in the hard and dirty. And as we live on mission, we are continuously being discipled even more into the image of Jesus, and our expression of religion becomes increasingly pure and undefiled. We serve others because of what Matt talked about in communion, what has already been done for us. And we're not all called to do the same thing. As we know in 1 Corinthians 12, we all have unique gifts, we all have unique things that we've been blessed with, and we're all called, and we function well together when we all use those different gifts and talents. So as John said, we've handed out a card, and on that back of the card are different ways that you might be able to support Fostering Hope or support a fostering family in your community, or kinship family in your community, or a child that might be going to school with your children at your local school. So we're going to leave those cards with you today. And we have a very fancy box that we'll leave with Matt, that if you feel over the next week or so that God's asking you to do something, that you could tick that box and we can get in touch with you. And obviously Ellie and I are just upstairs during the week as well. And just to also continue this invitation, I'd like you to continue to pray for this partnership that we have with Hobart Baptist Church now. What God could do more with us now working together in this space together, and how we could use this space to change outcomes for children and young people, for their carers and for those working with them. Thank you.